Chapter 4, Task 2, Simple Probability. Simple probability consists of one event, and an event is anything that happens. So it could be rolling a dice and getting a number, it could be drawing a card from a deck of cards, or it could be choosing a color. And those are just some of the examples. Now, there are some important things you need to know if you're going to do probability. For example, maybe you know how many sides are on a dice. That's right, there are 6. And if we were to look at every side of the dice, you would see a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. How many cards are in a deck? Does anyone know? That's right, there are 52 total cards. And within that deck of cards, there are 4 different suits, and each of those suits has 13 cards each, and we will list those right now. And of the black cards, you will find 13 hearts and 13 diamonds. Those are not black. I'm sorry, those are red. Those are all your red cards. And of your black cards, you will find 13 clubs and 13 spades. Those are all your black suits. Again, for a total of 52. And let's even talk more specifically about what kind of cards are in each suit. We said there are 13, and they all start with an ace, which often represents the number 1. So then it counts from 2 to 10, and then includes a jack, a queen, and a king, and we'll list those right now. So when we ask for probability, we usually see it written as P and then parenthesis an event. So P parenthesis rolling a 3 would just mean the probability of rolling a 3. Probability is usually written as a fraction, and on the top of that fraction, you will find the number of outcomes you want, or the number of outcomes you've been asked to find. And then on the bottom will be the number of total things. So the best way really to do this is to look at some examples. So the first example we're going to look at is Bobby. He rolls a dice, and the question is, what is the probability that he will roll a 2? Well, that's why it's important that we know that on a dice there are 6 sides, and that there's only one number 2 out of all of those sides. So since there's only one number 2, we're going to put the 1 on the top of our fraction for probability. And on the bottom, we're going to put a 6 because there are a total of 6 sides on a dice. So we will write that in our notes. So that's it. The probability is just 1 out of 6. Example number 2, June wants to read a Shakespearean comedy. Shakespeare wrote 6 comedies and 12 tragedies. What is the probability, P, that she will select a comedy? So again, we have to think about the number of outcomes we want. Since there are 6 comedies, that is the number that's going to go on the top. And I'm going to underline the question where it says, what is the probability that she will select a comedy? So this, again, is what we want to find. That's why I'm putting the 6 on the top. And total number of things go on the bottom. We're going to have to do some math over here because there are 6 comedies and there are 12 tragedies. So altogether, there are 18 possible books that Shakespeare's written. And we find that by doing 6 plus 12 to give us 18. I was doing some mental math there. All right, so if you got a chance to get that down, we're going to go on to example number 3. Carly randomly chooses a card from a deck of cards. What is the probability that she will select a spade? So the outcome she wants is just one spade. And again, those notes up at the top are going to be pretty important. It shows up here that there are 13 spades in one deck. So we don't care what spade she gets. We just want her to get one of them. And since there are 13 of them, 13 is going to go on the top. And remember that the bottom of our fraction includes the number of total things. And our notes again show, if you forgot, that there are 15 total cards in a deck. So we're going to go ahead and put 52 on the bottom. The probability that she will select a spade is 13 out of 52. Moving on to number 4. The faces of a fair 6-sided dice are numbered 1 through 6. The dice is rolled. What is the probability that it will land on an even number? Okay, so we have to do some thinking. If we recall from before, I think he's going to be up the side, there are, a dice has numbers 1 through 6. We want to know what is the probability of the even number. So I'm just going to list all the even numbers out between 1 and 6. 2, 4, and 6 are even. We want to know what is the probability that it will land on an even number. Since there are 3 possible numbers, 3 will go on top. And the bottom is the total number. Again, since it's a dice, there's 1 through 6. That would be a total of 6 possibilities. And we'll take some good notes for when you go and do these on your own. You'll have some great references to refer to. Last example before you move on and do some on your own. Example 5 says Jerry is picking a card out of a deck of cards. What is the probability that he chooses a black card? Again, those notes on this page are going to be super helpful. Go back to the front page. And again, it shows that the clubs and spades are black. There are 13 clubs and 13 spades. So off to the side, I'm going to do a little bit of math. So we've got 13 and 13. When we add those together, that gives us 26 total cards that are black. So on the top, we are going to include 26 and the total number of cards in any standard deck is 52. And double check that you have these notes written down. It will make the problems you're about to do on your own much easier to do if you have good references.